Fred, can you just do away with something like that? Done?
Sure, but Donald Trump can actually recreate it if he wants to. I'm not sure he will. I don't think he needs it. He's going to have his own immigration policy, and I think it's going to be a tough one. He's not going to ban all Muslims. He's not going to have a Muslim registry. He doesn't need those. One of the things he needs to do is say, look, we do not need to invite Syrian refugees to the United States. We know what happened in Europe. It was terrorists who got in with the Syrian refugees who produced the terrorist attacks in 2015 in Paris and in Brussels.
But Fred, I mean, the concern is there could be people already here. I mean, President Obama has aggressively been working to bring more and more Syrian migrants here. And we have certainly plenty of people that come into this country. You think about San Bernardino, right? That guy, that terrorist wife, came from Pakistan, and no one fully checked her out, and she waltzed right in.
Well, look, you have to have a tougher system. I mean, look at Europe, where terrorists who are very difficult to deport are wandering, roaming all over Europe. And I mean, look at the guy who
So what is that tougher system, though, Fred? Because you know, if you're not tracking people that come into this country from sketchy places, how do you know who's here?
Well, look, you can track an awful lot of them, and when there's which was not being done in Europe, and enough of it is not being done here.
But we had the tools to do that. I guess that's my point. We had something in place. It went in after 9/11 via the Patriot Act. Obama chose never to use it, which was a source of concern for many in law enforcement. I think at times the FBI would have liked to have had this there, but he didn't want to use it because he somehow saw this as Islamophobic, as racist, etc. And now he's just gotten rid of the program altogether, so if Donald Trump wants to put something similar back in, well, there's going to be a big hoopla about it.
Well, so what? I mean, look, Donald Trump's not going to worry about whether there's a lot of people criticizing him for doing stuff, because he knows one thing, and that is the American people want to be safe. They don't want terrorists coming in the country. That's why you have extreme vetting. That's why he's going to focus on countries that have exported a lot of terrorists in the past.
Does that mean places, though, like France and Brussels? I mean, you think about how easy it is to go from the U.S. to Europe. You got all these people living in Europe. Who's to say they wouldn't come here, Fred?
Well, some of them might, and that's where extreme vetting comes in. You know, for instance, the terrorists who were just shot earlier today in Italy was already on the U.S. no-flight zone. You really have to concentrate on that. Look, there's a lot more that needs to be done domestically, but there's a great deal to do to keep terrorists from coming in the country, and that's where extreme vetting comes in, and that's where concentrating on
the president getting rid of this program, it was another tool we had that could have helped.
It's not a major. President Bush wasn't using it for most of his presidency, and if Trump wants to recreate it, he can. Look, this is a conceit of President Obama. This makes him feel better. It makes him so he can go around and saying he's tolerant and look what he did. Well, I don't think it amounts to much.
As Karl Rove said, this is a man whose legacy is definitely going to be challenged. I'm out of time, but Fred Barnes, so good to see you. Thank you, sir. Merry Christmas.